no issue with me. I'm just saying napapatingin ako sa harap. So, yeah. Anyway, Mr. Renato Limsiaco, so ikaw pala ang finance, tama?
Yes po, ma'am.
And
Good
then,
hapon po.
good afternoon. And then from PHAPI, the Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines, Mr. Lloyd, tama ba? Lloyd Diones. And I understand, tama ba, your president is online or will be online later? Okay, sige. So without further ado, I will give the floor to all of you. My concern really is that during the hearing, President Ledesma was very confident in his statement about payments being made and 75% of the payments due had actually been paid, right? And then later on, there was a statement from, is it the PHAPI, stating that marami sa kanilang hindi nabayaran. As to, there is a way to reconcile those statements because obviously if 75, then may 25 pa talaga naman hindi nabayaran. We'd really like to get clarity on this because the chairman of the Committee on Finance, Senator Sani Angara, according to his team, commitments to make payment of PhilHealth to the private hospitals were made a couple of years ago pa. And of course, I know you are new, but let's get all of this history and current status clarified so that the subcommittee knows how to make the proper recommendations to the committee. Okay? 1 second lang. So I'm accompanied by my team because it's just a meeting, no? Attorney Abby Miranda, for your information, because you will need to work with my team if you have other submissions to be made. I'm not sure if other senators will join, but maybe some of them have their staff here. Yeah, okay. So I understand PhilHealth has a presentation, and if you'd like to make a preliminary statement, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Chairperson Pia Cayetano. Good afternoon again to everybody, Madam Chair, Madam Abby, Honorable Secretary Ted Barbosa. Thank you very much again, Ma'am Chairperson, for this opportunity. No, we welcome it at PhilHealth to be able to clarify some issues. I will give an opening statement, Ma'am, and then we have a short presentation. Will be presented by our finance guy, Sir Renet, no? Before I make my opening statement, ma'am, I just want to mention something very quickly. I think, as you said earlier, the main issue for this hearing is to clarify my statement that, well, I committed to Congress that within 90 days, we would pay off the 27 billion, no? Now, and then, I added 30 days after that it's only been roughly a month and we've already paid 75% of the 27 billion.
I can confirm that that is what you said
Yes,
here.
Thank you, ma'am. And then lastly, ma'am, Honorable Dr. Ed De Grano, who is the president of PHAPI, came up with a statement and there was a press release. He was saying, maybe kami ni PCO are talking about two different things because parang hindi ko nakikita na yung 75% ay nabayaran na. Parang he found it also, he thought that there was a misunderstanding because he wasn't sure that if that was really the case, no? So Dr. Rene De Grano, the president of PHAPI, came out with statements alluding that maybe we're talking about two different things because he also found it hard to believe. So anyway, ma'am, lastly, a day or two after our Senate hearing, I asked Dr. De Grano, the president of PHAPI, and the other hospitals association to have a meeting. So we were all involved in the meeting. I said to clarify all the miscommunication or all the different statements. And I'm happy to report to this honorable committee that after the meeting, Dr. Rene De Grano, who is the subject of all of this, as president of PHAPI, said, I'm glad you called this meeting. Everything is now clear. Okay, so I just want to mention that, ma'am, no? So
share that info with us, and then maybe we can get confirmation from them.
Yes po.
Okay.
Yes po. And then
will
I
he
think,
be available online? He will be
yeah,
available
if
online.
I'm not
Okay.
mistaken, I was also talking to him just yesterday. I think
Okay.
he said, Dr. Degrano, if you're happy with the developments, it might be nice to share it with
It might be nice.
in the
You are
Senate
you are
hearing today.
absolutely
Yes.
right. It might be nice.
So I just wanted to mention that, ma'am, and then if I can
Okay.
proceed with my
Para
opening.
we can be finished in 30 minutes. I'm sure the secretary is very busy.
Yes po. And I'm
Okay.
sure even yourself also po. Thank
That's
you po.
true.
No.
I'd rather be playing paddle with our Olympian. That's the truth.
Thank you po.
Minsan lang sila makauwi dito eh. So we wanted to spend a little time with them and, congratulate them. So thank you for also giving them a little bit of time. They deserve the honor.
Oh, it's our honor also, ma'am.
Okay.
Can I go ahead and proceed with my statement, ma'am? Thank you, ma'am. Honorable Senator Pia Cayetano, Honorable Attorney Abby Miranda, Honorable Secretary, DOH Secretary Ted Herbosa, officers and representatives from our DOH family, distinguished guests, other participants, my co-workers in PhilHealth present today, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Your Honors, we thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to be here today to discuss some of the concerns that have been raised with PhilHealth. These include claims payables and the more recent cybersecurity incident that occurred. But I think, if my understanding is correct, I think this hearing is more specifically to address the 27 billion I promised to pay the hospitals, which was mentioned last September 6 in Congress. Unwavering in our mandate of ensuring every Filipino has access to quality health services, PhilHealth has unceasingly come in aid of its members through steadfast payment of benefit claims, despite the many, many challenges we constantly face. Please allow us to assure the good Honorable Senator that measures are already in place to ensure continuous services for our PhilHealth members and even our partners. We have been recently reminded that our programs are not perfect. Nevertheless, we want nothing more, and we feel the Filipinos deserve nothing more than service with healthcare benefits and services that are of quality, accessible, and affordable as mandated by the Universal Healthcare Law. The Senate and other partners in public service. Magandang hapon at maraming salamat po, Madam Chair.
I just want a minute to
So, current year is 1.13 billion. So, ang beyond 60 days niya is 6 lang. Ibig sabihin, there you go. Mabayaran na. Mabayaran. There's a pattern. Mabayaran.
Oo. Can you elaborate on this? Whoever you want to elaborate on, no? Yeah, so I'm looking at this chart of yours and yung ano ba tong within 60 days? Payable within 60 days? Billed the last 60 days? What does within 60 days mean?
Yeah. Ma'am, if I may be allowed, Sir Renet, so who
Of course.
prepared this.
Oo. So
go
what
ahead,
does within 60 days mean? Due within 60 days?
Again, magandang hapon po, Madam Senator. And on this chart po, makikita po natin ang ating payable of 27.2 as of August 2 to 2023
As of
po.
August 2,
Now,
okay.
ito po yung aging po natin. Aging po ng claims natin as of August 2 that we have within 60 days po worst claims of 13.7 billion.
Okay.
And because the law provides us PhilHealth to process the claim within 60 days upon receipt.
Okay.
And
So by law, ito yung due na dapat niyong bayaran within 60 days. By
Yes
law
po.
yan.
Yes po.
13.7 billion.
Yes po,
Okay.
ma'am.
Pero ako na magpapaliwanag para pero meron din kasi kayong due na sumobra na sa 60 days.
Yes po.
Ang tanong ko sa iyo, itong due na 6 billion,
6.2 billion. Tama?
Yes po.
Okay. That's for this current year,
2023.
2023. So, hindi lang na-process yan within 60 days. Hindi
Yes po.
nabayaran within 60 days. And then, meron pang previous years na 7 billion. So, total is 13.5 billion. Pag idadagdag pa si
13.
13 billion, that's why may total ka na 27.2 billion. Okay.
Tama po.
Sige. Tanungin ko muna yung, kasi yung within 60 days, by law yan eh. Meron kang 60 days. So, wala namang pwedeng magsabi sa'yo na, oy, 31 days na, late ka na. Kasi the law allows you 60 days to pay. Clear?
Yes po, ma'am.
So, within 60 days, nandun kayo sa binigay sa inyo na time frame ng batas. Okay. So, dito tayo mag-focus dun sa beyond 60 days. No?
Yes po, ma'am.
Ang current year mo is 6.2. Bakit yan delayed? Ibig ba sabihin nito, kulang ang pera? O kompleto ang papers nila pero kulang ang pera nyo? Or kung ano man dahilan? Or may kakulangan din sa submissions nila kaya hindi nyo pa mabayaran? Ano yung main reason dun sa current year? Tapos mamaya dun sa previous year?
Yes po, ma'am. The main reason why beyond 60 days ako tayo, hindi po sa walang pera o kulang ang pera natin. We
Okay.
have enough funds and
Okay.
in fact,
So
meron
you're
tayong 3
assuring
months.
the public and the hospitals kasi nakakatakot lang yung statement which I've heard for many years on and off na baka magsara na daw yung mga private hospitals natin, natatakot silang tumanggap ng pasyente dahil pag tinanggap nila yung pasyente, abonado sila sa gastos, magpapasweldo sila ng doktor, yung supplies na ginamit nila, yung oxygen tank, yung gamot, lahat, yung operating room, hindi mura mag-manage ng operating. Lahat yon abonado sila. Tapos yung 60 days na expect nilang dadating yung pera, hindi pala dadating. So talaga naman kung ako sila, naawa ako sa kanila na wala silang security na dadating yung bayad. But you're saying to us now, may pera, wag kayong mag-alala.
Tama,
So
ma'am.
bakit nagkaroon ng backlog beyond 60 days?
Yes po, ma'am. There are a lot of claims, ma'am, na pumapasok sa atin. We have 1 million claims average in a month.
Okay.
So parang ganyan, ma'am, yung statistics po natin. And ito po yung beyond 60 days. Of course, may mga na-process na claims within 60 days or even before 60 days. And there are some claims as well. And there are some regional offices na nagpa-process ng claims beyond 60 days as well because maraming claims na na-receive sila.
Okay.
And some of these claims, ma'am, particularly yung previous years, which is 474,000, ma'am, these are claims that may mga concern as to the system, as to the policy, that tinitingnan ng korporasyon how to, and of course, we are discussing this with Dr. Digrano, how we will release o kaya process the claims and mailabas po natin ang pondo na nakalaan po dito because these are claims already tagal na as of August 2 ay umaabot ng 7.2 billion po.
Okay. Sandali lang
Sige po, ma'am.
Tama ba ang aking math? If you have 6 billion worth of claims beyond 60 days and you say na 1 million ang pinaprocess sa isang buwan, that's an average of 6,000 pesos. Is my math correct? 6 billion minus, 6 billion divided by 1 million is 6,000. 6,000? I mean, I'm just saying. So ibig sabihin, ano bang range ng ipaprocess ng isang hospital? Hindi naman siguro isang procedure, di ba? Hindi siguro naman ng isang hospital ilang procedure 'yon kahit yung pinakamaliit. So what is the range of the claim of one hospital? Maybe kayo ang tatanungin ko.
Mr. Chair, it varies depending on the
Of course.
diagnosis of
I
the.
know it varies. Kaya
Yes,
nga tinatanong
yes,
ko, what is the range? Yung
Um,
maliit, ano yung malaki?
it
10,000,
ranges from
100,000,
yes.
1 million?
Thousands up to 100,000 for non-COVID cases,
Ano
Mr.
na?
Chair. For non-COVID cases,
Oh,
it's up to 100,000.
What's it?
100,000.
100,000.
But for COVID case, Mr. Chair, it's up to 700,000.
Ano pa ba tayo ng mundo sa maraming COVID cases? O,
There are a lot of unpaid COVID
because
claims.
of the previous
Yes,
years.
Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
sige.
Apo.
Sige. So, iba pa yung usapang COVID, iba pa yung hindi COVID. So, yung non-COVID, ang average na claim ng isang ospital is in the hundreds of thousands.
That's the range, Mr. Chair. That's the highest. Average probably 15,000.
Sorry?
Mr. Chair. Average is 15,000.
15?
For the non-COVID case.
Oh no, but that's one procedure. That's not the monthly claim. Because ang statement nyo is sa isang taon, sa isang buwan, you receive 1 million claims. Yun ang sinabi ng PhilHealth. So gusto ko lang malaman, magkano ba worth yung isang claim na yon? Siyempre may range.
Okay.
So ang isang ospital ba buwanan maningil? Normally ba yon? Buwan-buwan sila sumisingil? Or quarterly? What are the habits?
As discharged, Mr. Chair, we do file the claim of
So as
patient.
so
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
hospital, pwedeng sa isang araw, 3 claims.
Yes po,
10
Mr. Chair.
I
Yes po.
see. Okay.
So if you are to ask me, Mr. Chair, the average monthly filed
Yung
claims,
bundle ng ospital yon,
hindi po, Mr. Chair.
bigay agad.
Yes po, kasi the ruling, Mr. Chair, is for us to file the claims within 60 days upon discharge.
Within 60 days.
So,
Okay, so, sorry, itong within 60 days within discharge, ang sinagot sa akin kanina, 60 days from the time that the claim is made.
Mr. Chair, if I'm to...
For you, 60 days. For the hospital, okay,
Apo.
ulitin natin. So, for the hospitals, make the claim within 60 days of discharge.
Correct, Mr. Chair.
And then sa inyo naman, pay within pay, not process, but pay within 60 days from the day the claim is made. So ano yung isang reason na binigay mo? Sabi mo, sumosobra sila sa 60 days. Sa 60 days nila. Hindi sa 60 days nyo. May sinagot ka eh. Ano yung reason? Sabi mo, yung iba dyan claims beyond 60 days. 60 days of what?
Okay. Madam Chair, 60 days pag-process ni PhilHealth ng claims. Kaya makikita po natin that there are some claims that beyond 60 days siya. So in other words, hindi na i-process natin ng PhilHealth yung claims na yan within sa 60 days reglementary period.
Kaya nga. Hindi nyo na-process.
Yes po.
But ang tanong ko nga, alam ko na yun eh.
Ah,
Alam ko na yun eh.
yes po.
Ang tanong is, ano yung reason kung bakit hindi na-process?
Okay. Again, ma'am,
Isa
mga
yun kasi
reasons.
reason mo eh, kaya nalito ako.
Yes po, ma'am. Ang some of the reasons why beyond 60 days tayo, may mga claims na may system issue. When I say system issue, hindi mapaprocess ng ating processor in our regional offices dahil sa may
Basa.
Hindi
Sa
mabasa.
madaling salita,
Yes
hindi
po.
nabasa ng
na
computer.
computer.
Okay. Meron kasi akong doktor na pinsan, sabi niya, minsan, hindi mo lang mailagay yung period, hindi na daw nababasa yung claim. Na-report ko na to sa PhilHealth more than 2 years ago eh. May ganun daw eh. So I don't know, I hope na process na-figure out nyo na yan. Nahirapan daw yung ano ba tawag sa kanila, yung staff na ma-handle. But anyway, we can go into that in details. Hindi na tayo kailangan diyan, pero we have to understand. So, itong mga hindi mabasa ng system, are you addressing that?
Yes po, ma'am. We have now that team na dito nga si Doc Sunny that handles the PMT claims that will be addressing ito mga system issues natin, ma'am. Para mabasa po and ma-process ka agad yung mga claims po na ito.
Okay. O ano pa yung ibang issue? Reasons.
Mayroon din po tayong policy issues. Kumbaga claims na pumapasok sa PhilHealth na batay sa evaluation of our regional offices.
Are not
hindi siya-
acceptable. Hindi siya pasok.
Yes
Okay.
po. So walang
Okay.
policy that covering
Okay.
that one.
Okay. Ano pa?
May mga referred to membership as well, Madam Chair.
Ano yun? Ano yung third?
Membership po. Pinapa-verify yung membership ng
Nung hospital na yon.
ng ating mga claimant or beneficiaries. And there are some claims
Wait,
also
so membership of the hospital or of the individual?
individual, ma'am.
Akala ko ba ano na tayo?
All, ma'am. Pero ang nangyayari, ma'am, may mga pasyente tapos walang membership, pinapa-submit natin ng PMRF.
Even if delayed ang kanilang or simultaneous lang ang kanilang pagme-member, they still have to be a member.
Yes po, ma'am.
But you will not deny it.
Yes po, ma'am.
You just have to follow the process.
Yes po.
Okay.
Marehistro po sila.
So, paninindigan pa rin natin yung sinasabi natin na no one is turned away.
Yes po.
Ano na tayo ngayon? Lahat ay considered member. Pero pag pinaprocess ng ospital, it's their job na dapat pinamember mo yon, inayos mo. Tama ba?
Tama, ma'am.
Yes po.
Okay, okay. Ano pa?
Very clear.
May mga referred to legal as well na mga claims, ma'am.
Yung nagdududa kayo kung
Oo.
mukhang may kalokohan.
Yes, ma'am. May mga concern legal on the claims ng ating membro.
Okay.
So, yun po, isa sa mga reasons why.
Can you tell me ano yung percentage nito mga to?
Sir, we can ask Doc Sani. Nandito naman si Doc
Sure.
Sani.
Ma'am, with your permission, maybe can we ask Doc Sani to elaborate? She's the one, ma'am, in charge of handling. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, good afternoon po. For 2022 po, we have a percentage of around 2% for the returns. For 2022
Yeah.
po, opo. Mga 2% po ng mga sinagmit sa amin ng hospital ang nare-return po namin sa mga facilities.
Okay.
And around 6% po denied naman po yung claim. So,
Okay.
yan po, yung mga percentage na yon.
It's 92%
Hindi po.
nabayaran.
Mga around 90.7% po ang paid po namin sa PhilHealth. And 2% is returned, 6% is denied, and around 1% is in process, meaning they have the system issue, the policy issue, etc. po.
Okay, okay. Sige, thank you for that background. So, mabalik ako, itong sa previous year, sa 7.2 na hindi pa nabayaran, how much percent nito ang COVID? Kasi nga, yun ang nabanggit nga na marami pa palang COVID claims. Ilang percent yun ng COVID?
Madam Senator, I cannot tell po yung percentage, but they are many po,
Marami.
kasi they are covered under the policy issue. Yun po.
Under policy.
Yeah, opo.
So, hindi naman yan considered denied pa. They
No
are
po.
still, so, in process pa yon.
Yes po, Madam Senator.
Medyo malaki yan, ha? So, paano pumasok yan sa 90% paid kung ganyang kalaki pa, 7 billion?
Actually,
Or that's-
yeah. Madam Senator, we paid 119. So basically, this 7 billion is only a minuscule amount as compared to the 119 that was actually paid by
119
billion po.
COVID claims? Or
No po. Overall na po yon for 2022. So, yan
Yeah,
po.
that's about, I don't know, maybe 6 or 5%? 7 billion of 119?
Well,
7 of 100 is 7%.
Yes.
So 7 over 119 is probably 5 or 4?
6%.
6 po.
6. Okay. So 6. So malaki-laki pa rin yung 6%. Kaya nga tinatanong ko, marami ba dyan yung COVID? Kasi we need to get to the bottom of it, di ba? At least kung COVID, awa ng Diyos, hindi maulit soon.
Mr. Chair, we have some data, Mr. Chair, if it can help you
Of
decide,
course,
Mr. Chair.
okay.
This is based on the 35 hospitals, Mr. Chair, who submitted their data. So the records as of October 9, 2023, Mr. Chair. So the total outstanding claims, Mr. Chair, for the 35 hospitals total to 2.08 billion. And of the 2.08 billion, Mr. Chair, COVID claims is around 54 million. 54 million ang COVID claims, Mr. Chair. Of the 2.08 billion, Mr. Chair, 671 million COVID claims. So that's in percentage, Mr. Chair, if I'm to convert po in percentage. So that's 671 over 2080. So that's 32%, Mr. Chair. Unpaid as of October 9, Mr. Chair. And the rest are non-COVID claims. So of the 2.08 billion, Mr. Chair, total outstanding claims, only 17% is within 60 days. So that's 355.8 million. So the outstanding 60 days age, Mr. Chair. So of the 2.08 unpaid, 17% is within 60 days, Mr. Chair, within 60 days. Meaning to say, yes, Mr. Chair. Correct po, Mr. Chair. Beyond 60 days, Mr. Chair. Apo. This is just our initiative, Mr. Chair, when we were invited to come over here. So we right there and then made a survey from our members.
Based on the presentation of PhilHealth, ang beyond 60 days nila is 13 billion. And ang within 60 days due nila is 13. So it just so happens you did a little bit of you did a survey, and ang response mo shows na may what you're presenting lang naman to us is that of those who responded, 2 billion is due, 17% is within the window of 60 days, and then yung 83% is, so pasok lahat yung numbers na yan dito. Tama?
Should be, Mr. Chair. Apo.
Okay.
Should be po.
So, can we get confirmation from Private Hospitals Association that what PhilHealth president has mentioned earlier, that okay na kayo, nagkaliwanagan na on when the payments are due, what payments will be made? Ikaw ba magbibigay nun, or is your president online?
Madam Chair, si President po is online po.
Okay.
Yes, Chair.
Yes, good afternoon po, Madam Chair.
Dr. De Grano, hello, welcome.
Yes po, good afternoon
Hello,
po.
welcome, sir. Yeah,
Yes po, nagkausap po kami ni President Ledesma. Actually, twice na kami nag-usap at we're trying to sort out these things. And then, of course, ito ang present nila. Initially, we thought really na hindi, iba ang pinag-usapan namin. Because when I heard him talk at the Senate hearing last September 28, I think, we were thinking that yung po sinasabi ni PCEO were the current, just recent. Apparently, then it covers from 2014 to August of 2023. So what we were thinking was for the past 3 or 4 years na parang claims na hindi pa na-reimburse sa amin. Remember po, Madam Chair, na for the past 3 or 4 years ay yung po ang medyo inihintay namin, kasi karamihan po dyan are COVID claims of our private hospitals. And that's why yung po, nang sinasabi po ni Mr. Diones, na we took it upon ourselves na to make a survey, and we only had 35 out of around 700 of our members, so because it was just quite short time po. So anyway po, if we check on that, that is if 2 billion divided by around 35, more or less we get around 60 million per hospital. But of course, a lot of them are also small hospitals. So let's just say 1/2 lang, or 30 million per hospital. And there are about 1,200 private hospitals po. If we check that, and we put 30 million arrears per hospital, that's around roughly 36 billion. So more or less, sabihin na po natin na baka nababayaran yung iba hindi. But then, right now po, what we think is PhilHealth still owe us around 10 to 15 billion sa mga private hospitals. Yun po.
Sir, I have some questions, no?
Yes,
Give me
ma'am.
a second to just put my notes together. First of all, can I repeat what you said to be clear that I understood you, no? Sabi nyo, may 2 billion kayo na claims coming from 35 hospitals. But
Yes.
may I clarify that these are just 35 who responded to your survey? In other words, it could be more. There could be
Yes.
more of them. Tama?
Yes
Okay.
po.
But this 2 billion came from the 35, tama? So even if there's
Tama po.
more, lalaki pa yung amount, tama ba?
Yes po. Yun po, kaya in-average yun na around
Tama.
60
Oh, okay.
million per
Okay.
hospital.
So in other words, sa 35 hospitals na sumagot sa survey nyo, their total claim is 2 billion. And that's why
Yes.
you said if you'll average it, of course, it really depends, iba-iba, that's roughly
Mhm.
60 million per hospital.
Yes.
And, okay, and
Then
sabi
if
nyo rin, kahit kalahatiin mo
hatiin na po
yon,
natin.
that's 30 million, but then your final statement was kahit mabigyan niya ng konti, 15 million, something like that, correct? Did I understand? Did I hear that right? Okay.
Yes po,
Um,
Madam Chair.
I want to mention what I remember was a solution during the pandemic that was shared with me by then Secretary Vince Dizon, because there was also a claim and nahihirapan na yung mga hospitals at that time, right? Because they were attending to so
Okay.
many COVID patients. And so, and I don't know the details of the solution, but basically, something like if the hospitals are in good standing naman, and there's no reason to doubt naman, wala namang red flag, bayaran na muna yung X% man lang, pangtawid naman nila. Kung wala namang reason na, ay wag yan, kasi yan, daming record sa atin yan, iba naman yon, di ba? So may ganyan din ba ang PhilHealth? Para lang hindi nga nalulugi tong mga to. In other words, whether you follow that solution or come up with a new solution, paano nyo ba itatawid tong mga to na kahit papano, we assume that most are valid claims? So you're raising your hand, President Ledesma.
Thank you so much for the question, Madam Chair. Actually, what you just explained is, if you recall, when I answered Kong Stella in Congress that I would pay the
No, I don't recall because I'm not a
Okay.
member of that Congress. So
Anyway, ma'am, the reason I gave to be able to pay that is called DCPM. It's called the Debit-credit payment mechanism. And that's exactly what you had just mentioned earlier. That's really what we intend to use to accelerate and to expedite the payments. But that's why, ma'am, I also sounded very confident because I said earlier, I said in the last hearing, we had already paid 75%, and yet we haven't even started using the DCPM method. So anyway, ma'am,
75 from your own assessment, okay na yan. Okay na yan. Pwede nyo nang nilabas nyo na.
yes po.
Okay. So
And-
ngayon, ipapasok nyo na to sa
Yeah.
mga ibang pending. Tama?
Yes po. We are exploring the idea of using DCPM to even further accelerate the payments, no?
Okay.
And ma'am, with your permission, very briefly, because this DCPM method was used prior to my joining, no? If I can allow CEO to very briefly discuss how the methodology works, no? It's really unlike
And this is what I'm mentioning also. Is that correct? Or is it different? This is
yes.
what I'm mentioning. Correct?
Yes, Madam Chairperson. That's the debit
Attorney
credit
Santos.
payment mechanism. And right now, Madam Chairperson, we are closely coordinating with Dr. Degran of the Private Hospital Association of the Philippines to craft this. Probably you can modify the DCPM. Part of the proposal is instead of using 80% of the outstanding amount, we will go into paying 100%, and we will just recover later on in the event that there are claims that that's correct.
It turns out na, kunyari, 3 months from now, you find out na invalid talaga tong particular claim na to, saka nyo na lang babawas.
Yes.
So, tama ba?
That's correct, Madam Chairperson.
Okay.
We have a policy of payment recovery, Madam Chairperson.
Okay. So, you are in the process of discussing this with Dr. Degrano.
Yes, Madam
Okay. So,
Chairperson, we
in other
confirm.
words, yung sinabi ni Dr. Degrano na yung kanyang 35 hospitals na umaabot ng 2 billion yung claim nila, malaki yung chance na ibibigay nyo na yung buong 2 billion, tapos saka na lang kayo sisingil sa kanila kung sakali mang mayroong na-disallow. Kumbaga, binigyan nyo na sila ng good faith assumption and you'll pay the whole. That's what you're saying?
That's correct, Madam Chairperson.
But you have a mechanism naman, syempre, pera ng taong bayan yan, ano? Meron naman kayong mechanism na talagang kung may red flag naman yung ospital na yon, di naman masasama yon. Tama?
What we will implement, Madam Chairperson, is the payment recovery policy of PhilHealth, meaning if there are questionable claims when the claims are processed, we will require the hospital to return by liquidation the amount, Madam
So
Chairperson.
in other words, you're telling me, wala na kayong titingnan na red flags, bayad na agad talaga tong lahat? Tama ba
For the
yun?
implementation of the DCPM, that's correct, Madam Chairperson. We will pay 100%, Madam Chairperson. That's the proposal, Madam Chairperson. It's still for the approval of the executive committee and the board, Madam Chairperson, please.
I have a question lang before I give the floor to you. Dr. De Grano, itong association nyo, it's a voluntary association, correct?
Yes po, opo, Madam Chair.
It's not like, kasi I asked the question because ang Integrated Bar of the Philippines, it's not voluntary for lawyers. We have to join. Kasi it helps us police our own, no? Yung pwedeng sila magkaroon sila ng ano ba? That's how they police us. Kasi pag wala kami nung aming number, we cannot sign documents. My question is, it's voluntary. Therefore, do you have any mechanism in place to police your members? In other words, kung merong member na, you know, sunod-sunod yung accusations or complaints na nare-receive, number one, sa inyo ba nagko-complain? And if they do complain, may nagagawa ba kayo? I'm just curious if merong ganun sa association nyo.
Right now po, because we are a voluntary organization, hindi po, we only advise them of
Okay.
yun po.
Okay.
DOH
Thank you.
pa rin po.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to understand because to everyone here present, my understanding of the policy, and I may be wrong, no, sa dami ng information that comes my way, I was of the impression that that policy implemented during COVID to pay the PhilHealth claimants, the hospitals. Syempre kung may red flag nga, teka muna, hindi mo na binabayaran, sandali lang. And siguro konti lang naman yun, di naman lahat, di ba? So yun lang naman, I'm just worried about that because PhilHealth has historically made payments to claims later on that turned out to be bogus, that turned out to be excessive. So for your own protection and for the protection of the Filipino people's money, tinatanong ko lang naman na yes, gusto ko ma-expedite. Yes, support ko yung debit-credit na mabayaran na agad kung pwede. Pero dapat naman may mechanism lang na teka, may red flag. Since ang red flag hindi manggagaling sa association, sino ang may red flag? Kayo ba meron? And the floor is now yours, Mr. Ledesma.
Thank you very much, Senator Pia. No, what I just wanted to highlight, no, is this DCPM method, no, debit credit payment mechanism, is really, there are always two sides to a coin, no, and you're very right in saying that the controls are in place, are the red flags in place, everything. What I just wanted to highlight, ma'am, earlier was that we've had a lot of very extensive meetings with COA chair, Liel Cordoba and his team. And they've given us full clearance and the green light to go ahead with DCPM, meaning what the point I want to highlight, Madam Chair, is yes, you're right in saying that tinignan niyo na ba lahat? Sigurado ba ito? Baka may kalokohan. So it's
Telling me you did.
I'm
With
saying
COA.
we've had very extensive meetings and they've given us full clearance. So
Okay.
what I want to assure this honorable committee is that it is all very clear and it is all very legal and wala pong ano to, wala all the controls are in place po. Just wanted to highlight that po. Thank you very much po.
So, balikan ko ngayon si Dr. De Grano. So, Doc, you're fairly confident now kasi my job is to ensure the viability of PhilHealth and the people and the hospitals trust in them. So, I need to hear from you kung okay kayo dyan kasi it's not our job sana to be bailing out PhilHealth. So, sinasabi ng PhilHealth may pangbayad sila. I truly believe in the partnership of public and private sector when it comes to healthcare. So if you have that confidence, then for now, I'm okay also.
Yes po, Madam Chair. Actually, right now, sinabi naman po ni PCEO, we are in direct communication with them. Ano magkaroon nga po dito ng problem. Initially, I really asked to talk with him and katulad ng problem po sa computers na ganyan. So we are in direct communication with him now so that in any case magkaroon po ng mga problems ay sinosort out na po agad namin yun. Opo.
So is it fair for me to assume na pagka nakabasa ho ako ng another article, it's either positive in the sense na the funding is, the payments are trickling in, o di kaya, and sana hindi mangyari, despite all your efforts, hindi na kayo talaga nagkasundo. Pero wala na tayong gulatan. Pwede?
Opo, sana po ay talagang matuloy na. Yun naman po ang inaasahan po ng aming lahat ng miyembro.
Oo. Kasi lahat naman tayo, meron talagang mga iba-ibang trabaho. Katulad nyo, doktor, no? Sabi ko, inabala namin kayo just to settle this. And your job now, coordinating for all of these members is commendable, sir. Kasi you're doing it for the members, di ba? For at least the 35 who've responded and many more na siguro magsasubmit na rin sila na malaman nila yung kanila masisettle, yung iba hindi. Dahil hindi sila sumagot sa survey nyo. Did you want to say something else?
And just very quickly, Madam Chair, thank you again for your comments. That's why, Madam Chair, again, we're very extremely grateful for this meeting because every time people read the media, hindi ko naman sinasabing sinasadya, no? The honorable media, a lot of misunderstandings and miscommunications come out. And based on my experience, ever since I joined PhilHealth, every time there's a face-to-face meeting, including with yourself, including with Dr. De Grano, palaging nare-resolve afterwards, ma'am. It's only a matter of clarifying and miscommunication. So again, I just wanted to thank you for that, Madam Chair, for this meeting.
Well, for those who were not in the budget hearing of DOH and PhilHealth, 2 weeks ago, sinabi ko nga, di ba, I reminded everybody na si WHO, kasama dun sa guidelines yan, how to deal with COVID, was communication. So, you all have to have your communication experts also to ensure na instead of nagtuturuan tayo, nagtutulungan tayo. So, let me just clarify a few more things with my team kasi kung wala nang tanong, of course, I will get Secretary Horbosa's statements, if any, and then we can adjourn this sooner than later so we can go about our other meetings, no? Hold on lang. Okay. My team who all have been with me for many years. They don't look that old, but some of them have been with me for more than 10 years. And all of them have been with me in the 3 and going on 4th year that we've handled the DOH budget, no? So I always check with them if I'm overlooking something or meron pang kailangan iliwanag at meron pa nga. They correctly pointed out that the impact of these delayed claims is very different per hospital, no, Dr. Dejano? I'm sure you have big and small hospitals. Yung big hospitals kasi lahat naman nangangailangan kasi but the big hospitals kahit papaano may investors, siguro baka nga meron pang stocks yan na if talagang mangailangan they can cash in and pangtawid. Pero the small ones don't have that. So I think it's important that we hear from PhilHealth. Are you able to segregate itong mga hospitals to ensure that yung maliliit, hindi napapabayaan? Baka naman ang liit-liit ng claim niyan, pero sila yung baka magsara na bukas dahil wala nang pambayad sa mga nurse, wala nang pangbayad sa technician, at ilan lang naman ang nurse at technician nila.
Madam Chair, can I address the question? Actually, it's an excellent question. Very good point. I as PCO, and with my team here present, we can commit that everyone will be given fair treatment, regardless of size of the hospital and regardless of all that.
Okay. I appreciate that statement, pero I want to get a breakdown to see how do you have such a thing, the breakdown of what are the claims, what regions are affected, and I don't even know if you can categorize those hospitals in terms of kumbaga sa businesses, 'di ba? MSME hospital ba 'yan? Kasi mas hirap na hirap 'yan. And sa kanila tayo nagpapasalamat na nag-abala silang magtayo ng hospital sa probinsya tapos wala man lang tayong support, walang public hospital doon. And I mean they're as important as any other hospital, pero they are really serving that area, 'di ba?
Actually, Madam Chair, if I may answer, Madam Chair, yes, we have the complete breakdown of what you're requesting. In fact, Madam Chair, definitely within the day, maybe within the next few hours, we can submit it to you. Nasa amin yan, Madam Chair. We just have to pull it out, no? But it's a complete, detailed breakdown on your request, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Although our hearing now is nakafocus po sa private, pero may mga utang din kayo sa public hospitals, no? At baka
Yes.
napapaliw din yung mga director nila, tatawa si Sec Herbosa, baka ikaw ang ine-SOS-an nila. But I rest assured that hindi namin kayo kinakalimutan and you're assuring us na pati sila.
Definitely, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. So, I just need, maybe it's Mr. Lim Shaco can clarify, yung numbers nyo po kasi dun sa sinabmit nyo, the one that's on the screen, August 2, you also have a similar slide that's dated September 30. Submission to our office September 30, and it's exactly the same number. So meaning to say, walang nagbago between August 2 and September 30.
Okay. Madam Chair, the figure that we presented is August 2. And Madam Chair, our system now is down. So we cannot get the latest figure in as much as gusto ho natin makuha po.
So ibig sabihin, yung sinabmit nyo sa akin na September 30, August 2 dapat yon.
Yes po, ma'am.
O, it's an error.
Yes
So
po, ma'am.
you should correct it lang. Kasi ang
Yes po,
dating
ma'am.
sa amin, walang nag-claim between August 2 and September 30. Diba? So
Yes.
sabihin nyo lang na
Madam
Yung-
Chair, Madam Chair, with your permission, we will rectify the error. It's just an error, Madam Chair. So it's instead of September 30, Madam Chair, it's just August 2.
September 30, payment. Payment September 30.
So big
Ah.
anyway, I'll
Madam
have my
Chair.
staff approach you
Yes po,
because
ma'am.
under those numbers, there's a payment of 21 billion.
Ah.
So, and it says August to September. So hindi ko ma-reconcile.
Sige po. Yes po, ma'am.
Madam Chair, very quickly. So we'll just sit down with your staff, no? I'm sure it can easily be clarified. But most likely, August 2 is the payable, September 30 is the payment. But anyway, Madam Chair, it's okay. We will address it with your staff. Ma'am, mamaya madali lang yan.
Maliwanag din sa kanila. Okay? So if you can discuss that, because I have one more, I think one na lang, important question here is, there's a lot of issues with PhilHealth, and I'm not going to go into any of them except how it affects the budget immediately, no? So what is the impact of the cyber attack on the processing of these claims? Because I remember you told us during the hearing na everything was on hold, but then a few days after, okay na. So ano bang impact nito, and what can the hospitals expect?
Yeah.
Sandali, si Dr. De Grano, do you want to say something? Your hand is raised.
Yes po. Gusto ko lang i-mention na ito pong report na ito are based on, nakalagay naman po doon sa kanilang report, checks generated and advice issued. So it doesn't mean po na na-receive na po ng mga hospitals yung amount na yun.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. Thank you for pointing that out. I will also ask them to clarify that. Thank you. Who can answer my question on the effect of the cyber attack?
Thank you again for your question, Madam Chair. No, if I may have your permission, if I may allow our Chief Operating Officer to discuss briefly the issue. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chairperson, if I may, we are already in the third week since the cyber attack happened. And of course, we expect a delay in the payment of claims, Madam Chairperson, because we turned off our system when it happened. And the situation at the time was that hospitals could not submit claims. But we implemented over-the-counter processes and procedures. In fact, we paid through manually, Madam Chairperson. At present, we have already put up or resumed our system, restored our system, Madam Chairperson. Most of them already up. But on the system, on the processing of claims is being turned on gradually. The reason, Madam Chairperson, is that we are constantly conducting a VAPT or vulnerability assessment and penetration test every time we put on a system. So there are at least 6 regions right now which are already processing claims, meaning they can process and eventually pay. So we target that at the end of this week, Madam Chairperson, all regions will be able to process and pay claims, meaning all systems needed in the processing of claims will be effective, Madam Chairperson. Please.
So 6 regions are processing. So medyo marami pa rin yung hindi, no? Thank
That's
you.
correct, Madam.
Wait lang. Dr. De Grano, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you po. Thank you po.
Thank you, Dr. De Grano. Thank you po.
Okay. So siguro as an assurance na lang, kung ano yung pwede nyong i-settle offline, like the past claims, di ba? At least gumagalaw, and yun din naman yung mga ospital, di ba? If they're operating, kung hindi nyo man ma-process yung current claims nila, baka naman yung mga past claims nila ma-settle na para may income na pumapasok naman sa kanila, di ba? Yeah.
Yes po, noted on that po.
Okay.
And then po, if I can just quickly mention, it might be good for the honorable committee to know, ever since this happened po, which was on September 6, I think, or anyway, a few weeks ago, DICT, National Privacy Commission, NBI, everyone has been extremely helpful and supportive to PhilHealth, no? So I'd like to assure this committee that this is being fully addressed, not just by PhilHealth, but even all the other agencies concerned. Thank you.
That was my next question. So thank you for
Yeah.
mentioning that. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you also, Madam Chair.
The reason this cyber attack is relevant to this hearing on the budget is there are statements coming from private hospitals that they're turning away patients with the concern kasi na hindi rin nga sila mababayaran. So kung may history na silang delayed ang bayad tapos nagka-cyber attack pa, ang feeling nila baka beyond 60 days na naman ito mababayad, nagto-turn down sila ng patient. So sayang kasi si Dr. De Grano already left, pero baka is DOH working with the hospitals to give them some kind of assurance, PhilHealth? Paano ba? Kasi that's a national health concern. And for me, that's a security concern because security requires that people, hindi na nga sapat yung hospital natin, kulang na nga yung doktor, tapos mata-turn away pa. How do we address that?
If I may, Secretary, Madam Chair, just very quickly, no, and I think Ms. Secretary Ted may have some things to add, no. Before I answer the question, Madam Chair, I just failed to add in the last your last query. We also asked PBBM of Malacanang to set up a task force, collective task force that will be addressing this issue, no, on the hacking of PhilHealth. So I think we sent him an official letter, no, and I think Malacanang will be putting that together, no. And to address your question, Madam Chair, if I can ask CO Eli to answer the question, no.
Madam Chairperson, if I may, as to we all know that we have a deadline for the submission of claims, which is 60 days from discharge. However, we are not implementing this requirement at the present, Madam Chairperson, until this month, October. So there's no deadline
Okay. So
for submission,
on the
Madam
part of the
Chairperson.
hospital, the assurance is there is no deadline. So be sure na alam ng mga hospital nyo yon, pati sa public, no, Secretary. But kung ako naman yung ospital and diligent ako na nagsasubmit, di naman nakakatulong sa akin na walang deadline kasi gusto kong sumingil dahil nagbigay na ako. So how do you handle that? That is a current issue that you need to have a task force for them also. Paano magsusurvive yun kung 2 weeks na, tapos 3 weeks na, 4 weeks na? And let's say wala silang issue, sila ay nababayaran naman more or less on time. Hindi nila kaya na hindi sila bayaran. Paano?
Madam Chairperson, as a normal process, we process first in procedure, meaning those who first claims that are submitted first will be processed first. So when the claim is submitted earlier than the 60th day, then we'll process them first.
Correct.
Madam
But you
Chairperson.
told me only a few regions are processing. So what if yung isang ospital sa isang region, eh wala siyang way na ma-access? Paano sila?
Madam Chairperson, with the directive, we will address this issue within the day, Madam Chairperson, and direct all our regional offices to process first and foremost those claims submitted by our level 1 hospitals, private hospitals, Madam Chairperson, as well as government hospitals. We'll issue the directive today, Madam Chairperson.
Yes,
please.
kasi don't you think this is where your 60-40 debit credit system should kick in times like this, di ba? Sabi mo nga, all the safeguards are there. Approved naman ng COA. So, bakit sila ang mapipinalize dahil nagkaroon ng cyber attack, di ba? Sila dapat yung unang ina-assure nyo, and this is where I hate having to say na I don't have to have a meeting or a hearing to tell you to do that because this is another issue on top of the delayed payment issues that you have been confronted with for years na kailangan may plano din. Di ba?
We hear you loud and clear, Madam Chair. We will comply. We will comply with what you.
So just give my staff a call. I don't even need you to give me paperwork. Just tell me what you're doing so that we can also help in assuring our small hospitals and even the big ones. They also have bills to pay na gagawa ng paraan. And if you have to implement this 60-40 debit credit right away, then you do it. Even if you say, okay, hindi nyo na-submit, ano yung monthly nyo for the past 12 months? Ang average na claim nyo is this much. I'll give you 60% of that. You're in good standing, yan naman yung average mo, or you give them, I don't know, fair ba yun to give them the smaller amount, the average, di ba?
Yes. We will comply, Madam Chair, immediately among all the regions. Because like you said earlier, it's only 6 regions, and we have a total of 17 regions. So we will comply immediately, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. When you passed on earlier to Attorney Ellie Santos itong tungkol sa debit credit, no? When we brought in, sabi mo, yes, that's exactly what we're talking about. So when you say talking about, so na-implement na or pilot, what is the status of that? Yeah.
Madam Chair, if I can allow you to.
Yes.
Madam Chairperson, if I may, we already have because we have experienced this during the pandemic, Madam Chairperson, we already have the proposal yet to be submitted to the Executive Committee for approval and eventually to the Board, Madam Chairperson, for its approval.
Baka pwede yun ang, kasi I'm telling you now na you have another incident or situation to handle. So if this whole debit credit policy is not yet approved, hindi rin yung magagamit, di ba? For this one. So do you have an ExCom coming soon?
Yes, Madam Chairperson.
Yeah, it's okay. Yes, Madam Chair. We have regular ExCom and board meetings, so there's always one coming up soon. And if needed, Madam Chair, we can easily call both a special ExCom or a special board meeting po. Hindi problema yan po.
So my staff is just reminding us, no, you, that itong internal audit report on IT procurement was one of the requests, and we're still waiting for it.
If I may, Madam Chairperson, we confirm receipt of the request, Madam Chairperson, and we will submit the document within the day, Madam Chairperson, please.
Yeah, submit it because we need to go over it, and then ideally I don't have to call another meeting, but if I do, I need time to call these meetings before plenary of the budget.
Madam Chair, we can assure you 100% all the requests, including the IT procurement, will be submitted within the day po. Thank you po.
Just to clarify, dito sa documents submitted by PhilHealth, diba, we have the amount of 27.2 billion, no? That was flashed on the screen earlier.
Yes po.
This is a total of the within 60 days and the beyond 60-day claims, right?
Yes po.
So 27.2 billion payable. And then in your last slide, there is a column that says payment, 90.74. And then it says that the last column says percentage paid 73%. So my understanding of this is the payable of 27.2 billion, there has been a payment of 19.7 billion,
Yeah.
and that is where you have been saying that may 70 something percent kayong paid, di ba? Tama
Yes po.
ba?
Yes po. Correct po.
So when was this made, itong 19 billion? This is as of August 2 or September 23? Parang babalik tayo dun sa confusion ko dyan eh.
Again, Madam Chair, if I can allow SVP Renet to
Yes.
address the question. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, Sir PCO. Again, Madam Chair, the payable is as of August 2, 2023.
Okay.
And the payment, Madam Chair, is for the month of August and September. Ito yung 19.7
Yung
po.
balak niyong bayaran. Ano ba? What does that mean?
The 19.7, Madam Chair, these are the amount na requested by our PRO na ibayad doon sa ating
Cleared
mga...
for payment.
Yes po, na
Cleared for
requested.
payment.
Yes po, ma'am.
Pero hindi pa na-release.
Madam Chair, that amount 19.7 released by our PRO already because ngayon ay nasa October 11 na tayo and the report is for the month of August and September po, Madam Chair.
Because my understanding from Dr. Degrano earlier, and I'm looking at Mr. Lloyd Diones of private hospitals now because Dr. Degrano had to leave us, is that precisely it doesn't mean the statement na payment doesn't mean that they have received the checks. So what you're telling me is this document here says that cleared, ang column 1, 2, 3, ang third column that says payment means cleared for payment. And the checks are being released because not necessarily confirmed na natanggap. Or are you stating matter of factly na na-release nyo na lahat yan, na-release na namin yan, nahawak na nila yung payment na 19.7? Actually, check pa ba o bank transfer? Ano ba?
Madam Chair, the system right now ay automatic fund transfer na po
Bank
tayo.
transfer.
So,
Okay.
Madam Chair, itong 19.7,
Wala
Madam
nang check.
Chair,
Urahin
ay...
na natin sa language natin yan.
Oo, wala na po dahil sa automatic credit to the account of the hospital po, Madam
Okay.
Chair. So, ang pera na ito, ang 19.7 billion, Madam Chair, ito yung pera that our regional office requested from central office for the month of August and September. And ito po ay validate po nila. That's the reason why, Madam Chair, hindi kami kaagad nakabigay ng listahan ng report dahil until kaninang umaga, kagabi, pumapasok pa ang report nila because they validated the figure also na itong amount na ito ay ready, labas on the part ng PhilHealth. Yung it's a matter of yung ba ay na-receive already by the hospital because there are some instances, Madam Chair, though the money is ready already but hindi pa na-credit doon sa account ng ating mga hospital.
Sino ba ang pumipindot ng paid? Central o regional?
Madam Chair,
Sino the check it? Paid, submit.
Madam Chair, yung sistema sa pagbayad ang ating regional offices requesting money from central office and then we ready that money and then inform them that the money is already available and automatic submission of the ADA to the banks and then the ADA transfer the money to the hospitals.
The ADA, what is the ADA?
ADA is the authority. Ano yun?
Asan siya? Asan si ADA?
Authority debit
Sa
account. Authority debit account, ADA.
Pero nasa central ba si ADA o nasa regional?
Nasa regional office, Madam Chair.
So in other words, si regional will, once regional request it from you and it goes through whatever system you have, you'll send them that funding.
Yes po, Madam Chair.
And they'll be the one to release it.
Yes po, Madam Chair.
But that should be an automatic process, tama ba?
Yes po, automatic po.
Kasi hindi naman nila i-request yun na hindi pa yan na-clear sa kanila.
Yes po, Madam Chair.
So, nasa na yung pera na yan ngayon?
Madam Chair, ang pera na ito ay malamang sa malamang nasa hospital na po to. Dahil sa dahil sa yung pera na yan ay available on our fund and it's a matter of credit doon sa account ng ating mga hospitals.
So, sa central account, sa bank account ng central, nalabas na yung 19.7, na-deliver na yan sa regional or iba-iba? Merong na-deliver, merong hindi?
Madam Chair, we have the one fund system wherein isang account tayo on the part of benefit payment and then our regional office naka-virtual. Every time that the money transferred to the account of the hospital, kinukuha dito sa regional virtual account and the central office account, mother account, nagta-transfer ng pera doon, automatic. Opo, Madam
So,
Chair.
hindi talaga hinahawakan ng regional.
Hindi po, Madam
from
Chair.
central diretso, tapos natatanggal na yan sa kanila.
Automatic.
Pagka paid na yan,
Yes
paid.
po. Yes po, Madam Chair.
So, ano yung sagot? Nasa na nga?
Madam Chair, makikita lang natin once mayroon na tayong financial report na talagang may actual na mismo na pera na lumabas sa ating bank account, Madam Chair.
So, wala kang way ngayon na tingnan niya na asa na si 19, nasa account niyo pa o wala na? Wala kang way?
Gusto namin, Madam Chair, makuha kaso lang naka-down pa yung system natin, hindi pa 100%. Yes po. Yes po.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. But, as Secretary of Health, I'm also operating the largest network of public hospitals, 87 public hospitals, 4 of which are GOCC hospitals. And we provide the services to the Filipino people. And we depend a lot on PhilHealth because the budget allocated during government appropriations is not enough because patients continue to experience high cost of medical care. And the only place to go is the DOH-run hospitals where the services are available. I beg to disagree na we should actually verify first before we make statements if the money is already in the hospitals. Because I did. After the statement publicly, I asked my 87 hospitals to actually give a report of the arrears and what has been paid. And I have it here with me, but I will submit it to the Office of the Committee on Finance
Okay,
so that
but
you have an idea
are you-
what really has been received
Yeah,
by our public
tell
hospitals.
me of this 9 billion, they have not received that yet?
What in
O
my
ang
report,
sinasabi naman talaga nila is it's possible na hindi na, they don't know, they cannot answer us because of the hacking. They also don't know what the status of this payment is. That's what you said, right?
Okay.
Yes?
Madam Chair, can I just make a quick comment? Before this meeting, Secretary Herbosa was kind enough to show me the report, no? And I just mentioned, I think around 15 minutes ago, I just whispered to Secretary Herbosa, maybe if ever there's a discrepancy, it's because the date, the reference date of SecTed, of DOH SecTed is September 6. While the report we submitted to you, Madam Chair, is August 2. So there's a roughly 1 month discrepancy with regards to the reference date. So that may be an issue. No, I just wanted to highlight that to the committee, Madam Chair, Secretary Ted. Thank you.
Secretary had the floor. Are you done, Secretary?
well, I just want to tell the good committee, Madam Chair, that our President and CEO of PhilHealth is doing an excellent job in trying to improve payments to the hospitals. I've explained it to him since our first board meeting that the mandate of PhilHealth is to make sure that benefits of our members are paid and that the hospital's arrears should be actually zero or matter 60 days. But to have such a huge amount is actually very inefficient. And in fact, I would blame the executive committee of PhilHealth who has been doing and managing PhilHealth on this what we call inefficiency of payment because hospitals depend on them. The public hospitals we manage depend on the additional remuneration of services paid to PhilHealth members. And that actually matches. And if there is none, we are unable to procure additional meds and additional hospital supplies. So I have here the list of the unpaid amounts of all. The ones that responded to me were only 51 of the 87 hospitals. So this is still much less than what is actual.
What amount do you have with you? I mean, it's a given na baka possible na ibang dates, but what are
Ma'am, I'll
those?
just submit the report since
sige.
this requires a little bit more
Okay.
discretion.
Okay,
In
okay.
terms of but
Okay.
I'm telling
But
you,
suffice
some of
to
what
say-
our financial management vice president is saying is actually not true based on what I have verified. So yun lang ang masasabi ko dito. So I will give you the report. I don't know if the private sector has a similar finding, but this is
Well,
our finding of
what-
51 hospitals.
What I understand the statement is, well, based on the slide that was shown, is that 9.3 billion has been cleared for payment as of the August 2 payables. Tama? 9.2 billion has been cleared for payment for the government hospitals as of August 2. As to what the status of that is, kung natanggap na ng mga ospital o hindi nyo rin ma-verify because nga hindi kayo nyo ma-access ang system nyo.
Yes po, Madam Chair.
Yes po.
So, I guess, paano? Mamano-mano natin to, Secretary, to find out from
Madam
the...
Chair, the only objection I had was a statement made by our SVP for Finance and Management that sigurado siya nasa hospitals na yung pera. Kasi sigurado naman ako, wala pa sa kanila and I have the exact amounts.
Oh, yun na nga ano ba talaga?
Madam Chair.
Oh.
Can I make a quick comment, Madam Chair, before SVP Renet, no? I think it's a very good idea that the report will be submitted to you. But if I may respectfully suggest to DOH Secretary Herbosa, kasi this is 51 hospitals. So, hindi pa kompleto. So, it will be hard to really make a conclusion. So, maybe it would be nice, again, it's just my humble suggestion, baka pwedeng ikompleto na muna natin lahat ng 100% of the hospitals and then tsaka i-submit. At least it will be able to draw conclusions. Kasi kung may kulang, it will be hard to determine, ma'am, kasi incomplete
So,
yung...
ang assumption mo, the 36 who did not submit would favorably say na kami bayad na kami. Kasi
Hindi naman po, it's not necessarily, but it's just more that it's a more complete
it could only
picture.
get worse.
Hindi naman po, I guess it's just more that I think it will be a clearer picture, diba? Kasi kompleto. Yun lang, it's just a humble suggestion, ma'am. Thank you po. Anyway, Sir Renet.
Madam Chair, if may I, maraming salamat po and maraming salamat for the information. Ongoing on the side of the reconciliation with the Department of Health retained hospital. In fact, mayroon invitation that we will be attending in the next few days, Madam Chair. The figure presented by Secretary Ted, these are hospitals figure. And on our part, Madam Chair, this is also our figure on the part of PhilHealth. And there are a lot of course, my denied, my RTH, and on their part, the denied RTH maybe kasama sa figure nila. On the part ng PhilHealth, hindi siya kasama sa figure namin. So, Madam Chair, these are subject for reconciliation that we are pushing with the Department of Health Hospital, Madam Chair, na kailangan natin makita and of course, kailangan natin ma-reconcile and fast-track the payment, Madam Chair. Ito naman ang gusto natin mangyayari, Madam Chair, as of course, the instruction of the President or even the Secretary is to fast-track this payment in coordination with our regional offices, Madam Chair. So, reconciliation is very critical, Madam Chair, along this line para makita po natin, Madam Chair. Thank you so much po.
Madam Chair, very quick comment, if I may. Very, very quick. No. I just wanted to cite an example, which I think will address our concern now. Last December, Madam Chair, I had joined PhilHealth in November of last year. And as of December last year, there was an incident close to Christmas time wherein Dr. Rene De Grano, Honorable De Grano, Dr. De Grano of PHAPI came out with a statement. It was all over the news. He was saying PhilHealth owes us 10 billion. No? Parang he was adamant and he was stating that bakit ganon ang laki ng utang ng PhilHealth sa amin, which is roughly 10 billion. No? So that was carried on by all the media and it was highlighted in the media, in the newspapers. No? So anyway, when that happened, Madam Chair, we immediately called a meeting with Dr. De Grano to clarify. No? And after that meeting, it was proven, and Dr. De Grano agreed, he was in that meeting, that hindi pala 10 billion yung amount. The final amount was a little less than 4 billion. So what I want to say, Madam Chair, is, and this just happened within the year, no? Again, I'm not saying that the information of SecTed is wrong. I'm just highlighting that a lot of times, a lot of this can be clarified, can be reconciled with a face-to-face meeting. Andali ka naman kasi magsabi, oh, itong papel ko, mali, kitang-kita, yung PhilHealth, di nagsasabi ng totoo. Same thing with Dr. De Grano last December. He's saying, you owe us 10 billion. But when we met with him a day after, pasensya na, hindi pala 10 billion, it's less than, it's 3 point something billion pala. So I just want to highlight that, ma'am. So again, and like you said, diba, every time we reconcile, every time we meet, dun lumilinaw, ma'am eh. Diba? Thank you po.
Thank you, then. And again, in fairness to the good secretary, he didn't even report the number. He just wants to submit it to the committee. So he's doing you a big favor by not adding to the confusion and giving you opportunity to clarify it.
Kaya nga po.
Na nga, sabi niya, isasubmit niya. So I think that's very respectable and honorable of him. So
Kaya love na love namin po si Secretary Ted Herbosa. Thank you po.
anyway, I think I'm prepared to end this hearing. I've received candid responses from all the resource persons. I want to emphasize that, as I already said earlier, public and private partnership is very important. Although ang nandito na representative is from the private sector, but of course the secretary represents the public sector, and you did manifest your grave concern that they should get paid. A lot of the hospitals are also struggling. I know that for a fact. That's why we have this hearing, because we also want to ensure that the public hospitals get the support that they need. So any final statement, Secretary Herbosa? I'll let you be the last, no? Para we can end with you. Si Mr. Dionis of PHAPI would like to say something.
Madam Chair, we just, in behalf of the members of PHAPI, we just would like to air just two points. The first point, sir, is, Madam Chair, we would just like to suggest if the hospital and PhilHealth would agree in a standard procedure of recognizing liability. No, kasi sa part po kasi ni PhilHealth, they don't recognize RTH or return to hospital as part of their liabilities. But on the perspective of the hospitals po, we do recognize po RTH as part of our receivables, except po the denied claims. Pag denied claims po, sa books po ng mga hospitals, we do set an allowance po for uncollectibility kasi denied din. Baka meron po kaming pagkakamali on the hospital side. So, but the RTH po kasi, it can pertain to a very minor problem, no? Na probably yung date lang, no? Or baka yung pirma lang or yung name lang, no? Some sort of validation. So if we can agree on a standard procedure of recording liability, that will be a good start for the reconciliation. And then second point,
Let's get an answer to that. I guess the answer is yes. Paano naman hindi naging yes yun?
If I may, Honorable Senator.
Sina natin.
Yes. Actually, yeah, the answer is resounding yes. In fact, we're already in discussions, yung accounting to accounting reconciliation, no. So yeah, anyway, short answer, yes. We're working on it.
Okay.
Yes po.
Really, yung period daw na nakulang lang doon, madedenay yung claim. Eh, ganun talaga eh. So ayusin natin yan. Sandali lang, patapusin natin siya.
Lastly lang, Madam Chair, kasi very critical din po situation ng most of our members po. So, i-mention po about sa DCPM, we're very thankful po, fake partners for the DCPM, no? We're one of the hospitals po who benefited po for the DCPM. So, I just wanted to ask, Mr. Chair, if mayroon na bang tentative parang target kung kailan pwede ma-implement yung DCPM kasi we need really the funds the soonest possible time, Mr. Chair.
Okay, yun ang kailangan sagutin ng PhilHealth. Ano na ba? Kasi ang sagot nyo is, this will be taken up with the executive committee. It is considered a priority. So, kailan na ba yung DCPM ma-implement or once that you take it up?
Ma'am, I think it's safe to assure this honorable committee maybe sometime October, November of this year.
O, sana October.
Well, we will, we don't wanna, yes, ma'am.
You don't want to promise, but maybe you can give us a weekly report kung nasa na.
Okay, we'll do that, ma'am. We'll
And
comply.
the executive committee na, may kinaklarify pa. And then there's the next executive committee meeting is on this date. So that you know that we're also watching and we're also pushing it to have an early resolution.
We will comply, ma'am. Weekly report, ma'am, to be submitted to your good self.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Thank you so much, sir.
Sige. Any final words?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think it's actually very important for us to understand that we're implementing the Universal Healthcare Act that our good senators and congressmen passed. I'm the lucky Secretary of Health to implement that. And to implement this, we actually need a very efficient paying mechanism by the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation. The countries that have succeeded with a single payer system, like for example, the ones they have in Taiwan, was really based on a very efficient computer system. And any question you ask to them, how has the hospital been paid? Did the hospital receive money? Because they are computerized, they can be able to answer you right there and then. They even know whether a member went to another specialist twice, 3 times, or 4 times. This is the type of efficiency I am dreaming of. And I do thank the Committee on Finance for looking into this delayed payments and arrears of the corporation. I think it's very important that we understand that hospitals will collapse. Hospitals are being sold. To this date, I have friends in the business sector who actually look for hospitals having difficulty. And they are actually buying them. These were hospitals, the one you described, which I call the mom and pop hospital. This is a doctor, maybe a couple, serving in a small community. Dahil walang public hospital doon, they build na lang a hospital kahit walang kita. Then they build it over years. And then PhilHealth comes, iniipit sila kasi the payments are delayed by 60 days, 30 days, 90 days, and sometimes months and years. So my suggestion, Madam Chair, is that we should treat financing similar to the way we have credit cards. If I use my credit card, because the bank allows me to use the credit card system, if I do not pay on time on the say due date, they start to bill me finance charges. It's called finance charges. So I think if PhilHealth doesn't pay the hospitals the benefits they have given to members, their members, PhilHealth's money, the hospitals should have a right to bill them finance charges. I think this is something that we need to actually impose. And that would probably make PhilHealth more efficient kasi kundi mauubos yung pera nila sa finance charges. And they would be able to protect our small mom and pop hospitals, which I want the small mom and pop hospitals to continue kasi sila yung nag-fill ng gap ng absence ng ating government hospitals in remote areas where there is no public hospital. So very important talaga, ma'am, itong making PhilHealth work for our universal healthcare and for the Filipino people. Parang we are one of the few countries with a single payer system, but ours is probably the ones that's failing. So nakakahiya din yun. To me, I would want to see a very successful universal healthcare with single payer system because the assessment in the academe is that single payer systems are the ones that are most successful in implementing universal health coverage. So for me, malaking bagay itong ginagawa niyo, ma'am, to really investigate arrears that are not paid by the corporation. We in the board are also trying very hard. I think the president and CEO is being supported by a very strong board now that is trying to really make this insurance corporation a more efficient one. Maraming salamat, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. This is just a meeting, so did you want to say something quickly? Pero quickly na lang, please.
Yes. No, Madam Chair, I just wanted to echo and thank Sec. Ted Herbosa for the nice words, no? And again, just thank you again, Ma'am, Honorable Senator Chair Pia Cayetano, no? We really appreciate hearings like this. So we're given a chance to clarify all the issues. Thank you again, Madam Chair, and have a good afternoon.
Submissions of what's due, and rest assured for everyone, whatever we can do to clarify the issues and to get these payments made, that is our goal.
We shall comply, Ma'am. And within the day, lahat ng promises namin within the day, promise yan, Ma'am. You'll get it within the day. Thank you po. Thank you.